As your senator, building a modern transportation system will be one of my priorities because investing in transportation is investing in our people. For many working families, transportation isn't just about getting from one place to another. It's about opportunity. It's about keeping a job, getting an education, and building a better future. A strong economy depends on a strong middle class, and a strong middle class depends on having the tools people need to succeed. That's why transportation matters. When workers can get to work reliably, business can grow. When businesses grow, jobs are created. And when jobs are created, families thrive. Imagine a Guam where opportunity is within reach for everyone. I'm Donna Munikanata, and I approve this message.
You know, I spent my entire day researching. What I prefer to do. I prefer to write stories and I prefer to research and do the investigative reports, right? And so I just kind of got caught up with that the entire day on the whole Simon Sanchez High School thing. I'll be publishing a story after this, very interesting story too. After pouring over thousands of pages I poured over today from the Simon Sanchez procurement. And I'm sorry I didn't have a morning show today. I don't have any reason. The only reason I have to give you is that I decided that I wanted to sleep until 8:30 in the morning, and that's exactly what I did, and that's why there was no show this morning. So I apologize for that. I'm sorry for that. I had spent all my time today, almost all my time today, pouring over all those pages that I never thought to check the weather. And we were supposed to have an update this morning from Landon Aydlett, but because I didn't wake up on time, we weren't able to have that. I asked if we could have Landon on the show tonight to talk to us about Invest 95W over by the Marshall Islands. I'm not sure where it is today, but yesterday it was closer to Kosrae. But it is, according to Google DeepMind and some other models that have, over the past several days, some type of weather system that is heading in the general direction of the Mariana Islands. And today, as I was, doing my bad habit of not being able to focus and going onto Facebook or Instagram to see what people are talking about, I kept running across these sort of doomsday scenarios. When I say doomsday scenarios, I mean, people who have been taking some of the models and applying it to Guam and the CNMI and showing something that doesn't look very good around this time next week or maybe even sooner. And so I thought, well, let's just get the facts from Landon Aydlett over the National Weather Service Guam office. And on the other side of the commercial break, he is going to join us to talk about whether there's anything that we need to be more prepared for, or as colloquially, that we need to be concerned about or worried about. So we'll get to him on the other side of the commercial break. Stick with us.
He has that innate talent of even the most difficult times, giving comfort, giving solace, bringing stability. In my 64 years, there are people I've known that have passed away, and there's been Tony that has been there to comfort the family and the loved ones, sometimes the most difficult times of their lives. He could better this community as a public servant, but bring people together, even people with divergent thoughts and philosophies, but in the end, bringing enough comfort, enough stability to a situation that there's a consensus and then resolution and progress that is made. So, I'm so excited. I've seen what a great job Tony's done now back in the legislature. But I do believe that with him as governor, that ability to bring people together, to bring folks even with different perspectives together, it's what this island needs. God bless Atacaubo 2026. God bless Guam.
I'm Tony Atta, and I approve this message.
Guam's economy is growing. Millions of federal and military buildup dollars are being invested in our island. But too many off-island companies are benefiting, and many of the highest-paying jobs are still going to workers recruited from somewhere else. Frank Blas Jr. and Dr. Mary Okada have a simple belief.
The best jobs on Guam should go to the people of Guam.
Their plan expands workforce training, apprenticeships, and industry certifications so local residents can compete for high-skill, high-pay careers in construction, healthcare, technology, skilled trades, and defense industries. And they know Guam cannot depend on one industry alone. That's why the Blas Ocada administration will grow and diversify our economy, strengthen tourism, maximizing military opportunities, and attracting new manufacturing and technology investments that create year-round jobs and long-term economic security. More local jobs, higher wages, more opportunities for our families to build their future right here at home.
Let's invest in our people and build an economy that works for Guam.
Because Guam's future should be built by the people who call Guam home.
Vote Frank Blas Jr. for governor, Dr. Mary Okada for lieutenant governor. Ready on day one.
Welcome back to the show. My name is Troy Torres. This is the evening show called the Troy Torres Show. And joining us live is Landon Aydlett with the National Weather Service Guam office. Good evening, Landon.
Good evening, Troy. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm a little rested. I mean, I didn't have a morning show, and it's because I woke up really late, and I'm very sorry about that. I know we had a phone date where we were supposed to talk about Invest 95W this morning, but I don't know. I'm old. I needed to sleep, I guess. And
I can sympathize with that.
I'm so sorry, Landon. Well, okay. So I'm sure some of the stuff that keeps you awake is when you go through social media and you see the doomsday scenarios that are increasing. I saw a bunch today, and I was wondering, do we need to become increasingly concerned or prepared for something, or are these doomsday scenarios just that, not anything
Well,
bad?
doomsday scenarios have definitely been out there for upwards of a week now. We're still seeing those doomsday scenarios. But let me preface everything I'm about to say with the general caveat that I've been saying for days, weeks, and months. Maintain constant awareness of regional weather forecast trends and discussions, and also maintain a general state of preparedness, as we should do year-round in this region. And so that's because typhoons can and do occur any time of the year around here. And similarly, earthquakes, we are in an earthquake-prone region that can strike without warning. So we always have to maintain that preparedness. So again, don't stress, don't worry, don't be anxious, but be always prepared and watch weather conditions closely, especially with our developing 95W. And so we've been watching this thing closely. It's all the long range scenarios have been in the realm of speculation because this thing has been in a developmental phase, a formative phase across the Marshall Islands. It's still been sitting nearly stationary for a number of days now, trying to get it to act together. And we've seen some changes over the last 24 hours from what was looking like a single circulation center at the surface, but over the last 24 hours, it became more elongated. So think of a circle being stretched horizontally from east to west, and we kind of had a elongated circulation center. We're starting to see two circulations, one on either end of that elongated area, one northeast of Kwajalein and another one more so north of Majuro. I think the problem now is which one's going to consolidate and become the dominant feature. Of note, we saw some significant wind damage across Majuro and probably similar conditions across other outer islands and atolls across the southern Marshall Islands last night. We saw a lot of strong winds surging on the south side and the southeastern side of that circulation. Now we're starting to see equally strong winds surging across the northern side of this elongated feature. So things are starting to take shape. It's still not clear which circulation is going to emerge. Different forecast scenarios favor one versus the other. We've seen that differences between the Google DeepMind following a more of a southward track as compared to the GFS and the European models. We're still seeing that, but of note, over the last 8 hours, general global models have been showing a southward shift, and I think that's resulting in a little bit of an interplay between these circulations, maybe a little bit of a Fujiwara possibly playing out with the two circulations over the next 24 hours. So still not clear yet. Things are still...
When you say, I'm sorry, can we clear something up? When you say more southward shift, and we're talking about Google DeepMind versus the physics models, I think maybe
Correct.
a little bit of catching up our audience on a conversation we had a couple of days ago, where we were talking about how Google DeepMind had most of the tracks going somewhere close to Guam, all the way through a little north of Saipan, and the physics model is showing things going even further north.
Further north, and maybe even
islands, right?
Yeah, and maybe even avoiding the northern islands farther to the east. That's been the trend.
What it's showing now is a consolidation more toward the Northern Mariana Islands. Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're starting to see more long-range models tracking something through the Mariana Islands. So no more far to the north of Maui, for example, but now more into the CNMI, the NMI, maybe even southward toward Guam, and especially the Google DeepMind is still trending a little bit southward. And so that's definitely a concern we have to watch out for. And one of the factors is, will these two circulations over the Marshall Islands, this broad area of 95W, will there be a Fujiwara? And when I say Fujiwara, this is like two circulations and they kind of bounce around each other in a counterclockwise form. And sometimes we see that when you have tropical cyclones close to each other in the Philippine Sea. We've seen that from time to time. And we might see that. I think the Google DeepMind handles that in some of its initial stages in the early projections of its forecast cycle. That might be a possibility. We're going to have to wait to see how this plays out. Right now, it's too soon to say any certain solution. We see a lot of doomsday scenarios. I see them all over social media right now. People taking screen grabs from different weather apps and posting on social media and say, oh my gosh, here comes the next doomsday typhoon. And while that is a possibility, there's no level of certainty saying this is how it's going to turn out. There's still a lot of uncertainty. We have to see how this shakes up in the Marshall Islands, and then we'll start having more clarity on a potential forecast track, intensity trends, and where it's going to be passing. So again, wait, watch, and stay closely in tune with forecasts as this evolves. And we're going to keep seeing a number of scenarios. But we're going to sleep on it for tonight and see how things shake up in the morning. And we'll have to cross bridges together. But right now, no island should let the guard down. We should all watch this closely. There are no imminent threats to any of our islands yet. But this is something that everybody from Guam to Alamagan, Pagan, and Agrigan, we have to watch very closely in the coming days.
So realms of possibility here, right? Aside from the dissipation versus strengthening, aside from that, there's where this thing might be headed, and it's anywhere from Guam to the northern islands of the Northern Mariana Islands, as in the sparsely populated ones. So it's a wide range of where it can go, right? Is it also a wide range of how strong it might be when it gets to the closest place in the Marianas?
Yeah, there's still a wide range of possibilities with its intensity. I know the Google DeepMind has been the most robust as far as a stronger system moving through the islands versus the European or even the GFS. They have a bit more of a spread, ranging from a tropical storm to a typhoon system. The Google DeepMind's been very consistently very much on the strong end with something moving through the islands. But again,
it's showing mostly Category 4 strength.
Yeah. And so that's a big concern. And that's a long range potential. It's still a possibility and something we're going to have to watch for. But really, everything hinges on how this evolves over the next 24 hours, where it consolidates, where it starts to move, when it starts to move, and how fast it intensifies. That subtropical ridge to our north, if that stays in place to our north, this is going to direct more of a westward motion toward the islands.
Okay.
If that subtropical ridge moves eastward into the open Pacific, this is going to allow the 95W in whatever form it is to lift farther to the north. So that's going to be the big factor once this takes shape.
Okay, so I'm sorry, what's it called again? The subtropical zone?
Yeah, subtropical ridge.
The subtropical ridge, which is to our north right now.
Yeah, that's basically an area of high pressure. Tropical cyclones do not like high pressure. And think of when you have water falling on the grounds, that water is going to go to the lowest point in your yard. It's going to go into that ditch or gully and go to the lowest point. This is where tropical cyclones live. They like to stew in the deep areas.
Yeah, and so that's what I was noticing from the tracks was how low the pressure goes. Sometime next week, it's going to go as low as I think like 950 something, which is pretty low, right?
Correct. And that would be a powerful typhoon, of course.
Yeah, and that's not good for us. That's what comes out.
Yeah, and so I definitely want to stress there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of scenarios. Keep in mind, my rule of thumb is when you're watching a disturbance, it will do one of two things. It will or it won't. It will develop or it will not develop. And it does look like this will be developing. But keep in the back of your minds, we saw this with Michaela as it was approaching. All the long range trends had a powerful system moving through the islands, but each day, each forecast cycle, the peak intensities steadily declined to the point that we had a depression pass it through the islands with some gusty winds and showers. Will this play out the same way? It's just too soon to say, but we have to maximize our preparedness and awareness of conditions as they evolve, and be ready to roll with it. We're still a number of days away from any kind of a passage. So watch it closely. Again, don't stress, but be prepared.
Let me know, Landon, if this is an unfair question, but
It's unfair.
if you could give a percentage of probability that right now, what is your percentage of probability that a strong storm, as in anywhere from a Category 2 to a Category 5 typhoon, would be passing somewhere through the Marianas sometime early next week, as of right now?
I don't want to give a percentage,
Okay.
only because I think there's too many variabilities at this point,
Okay.
and I don't want to be held to that at this point. But right now, the range of options is so broad right now. We have a lot of potential for something significant to come to the islands, but it's not a guaranteed forecast for Guam, for Rota, Tinian, and Saipan, or the far northern islands.
You said that the next 24 hours are going to be pivotal for this thing. So do you think by the time we have our morning conversation at about 8:10 tomorrow morning on Kandit Live that there would be something significant that would have changed?
It's definitely a possibility. This is an evolving situation, and as we're looking at the surface conditions right now, it's definitely changed since this afternoon, and it's changed more so since early this morning. It's going to continue to evolve as we go through the overnight hours, and this is why I'm urging people we're going to sleep on it tonight and then assess things in the morning, see how things have evolved, and see where the latest forecast tracks and models are handling things, because we're still in this holding pattern. And as long as we're in this holding pattern, the range of opportunities and possibilities is so wide that it's reckless to say this is going to be how it plays out.
In the meantime,
holding pattern.
In the meantime, I think it's an important message for everyone that the responsible thing to do is not to share some type of a prediction or a projection that is without context from the National Weather Service.
Yeah, and I see a lot of these graphics, and people have been tagging me on social media on some of these graphics, and I don't respond to all of them. I pick my battles. But if you're going to be sharing these doomsday scenarios showing a typhoon sitting over Saipan, be sure to share those other model forecasts for that same time zone that shows nothing over Saipan, because we're still seeing some of those scenarios to a different degree.
Yeah.
So these are long range predictions, and every 6 hours with the latest information, data, observations, all compiled and crunched into these numerical forecast models, they spit out a new long range forecast. And so we're still seeing a lot of range and a lot of changes in the long range. But as this thing starts to take shape and it eventually makes its move out of the Marshall Islands, we're going to see things come into more consistency. And depending on when and where and how that shapes up, that's when we have to be ready to roll and take any decisive actions that may be necessary. We're just not there yet.
Okay, all right. So I'm looking forward to our conversation tomorrow morning. I'll wake up at 4 in the morning tomorrow just so I can take a look at it.
Oh, I'd love to sleep in like
that. and we'll chat in the morning.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you.
I said, don't stress, but stay tuned. Maintain that preparedness. What worked well for Senlaku and Mawar, and what could have gone better for you in your preparedness? Take those actions down.
Thank you. Thanks, Landon. I appreciate it.
Yep.
God bless you. You have a good night.
God bless.
So you heard that. I think probably the last thing he said is the most important part, and that is to be prepared now. And that's always going to be an important thing. But I think in the context of what could be happening sometime next week in any of our islands, or maybe nothing at all, but what could happen, be prepared. And I've got to make sure that my car is gassed. We have canned goods, dog food, batteries, flashlight. I don't know. I need a checklist. Does anyone have a typhoon checklist? I've never been that responsible like in my life. And if you can share with me your typhoon checklist, I'll copy and paste it and I'll make it my own. And you will have helped me to become that much more of a responsible person. All right. I'm going to go back to finishing my story about Cortec GPS and Simon Sanchez High School and the evaluator. Stay tuned for our latest in the Behind the Bid investigative series that we'll be putting out tonight. It'll be a short story, but it will be something that I think will raise your eyebrows. For Kandit News, I'm Troy Torres. You all have a wonderful evening. Talk to you all in the morning where we'll have the morning news analysis and we'll talk about the weather and other things that come up. You all have a good night. God bless you all.